and welcome here to TalkFCB, and welcome back to the channel, guys, as we are today going to have all of the latest news ahead of Barca against Rayo Vallecano. We are going to be talking about Ronald Koeman's reaction to the car attack that he suffered following El Clasico on Sunday. We're also going to be going through all of the team news, with Ansu Fati considered a doubt coming into this game, plus the latest on Pedri's recovery from injury, which is not looking good. And could all of these injuries in midfield open the door for the forgotten man, Ricky Puig? It is all coming up, so let's get to it. But if we start, first of all, with some reaction from Ronald Koeman, as we discussed on the channel yesterday, unsavoury scenes after the final whistle on Sunday against Real Madrid. There, Ronald Koeman's car was surrounded by people. I wouldn't necessarily say fans outside of the stadium, people there who were sort of banging on the windows, also kicking the car as well. Koeman, in his press conference today, of course he reacted to that incident. What he said, though, is that it's a social problem. He said it's not just a problem that's happening here, but right across the world. He said, I don't think there's a solution really to what happened on Sunday. He said it's people with educational problems who don't have morals or values. He said the atmosphere in the stadium was completely different. He said it was the opposite, actually. Even at 2-0 down, he said we should not focus too much on these people. We've already seen in the videos, these are people who record us when we go in and out of the training ground and nothing more. And Koeman actually alluded there to the fact that one of the people who actually kicked the car, you can quite clearly see it there on the footage, he's wearing an Arsenal shirt. So it is still questionable whether or not these were all fans, whether they weren't. Of course, there was frustration surrounding everybody, but Koeman said, I wasn't scared. He said, I had my wife alongside me. He also said we had people following behind. They're recording another Ronald Koeman documentary. He said, for a moment, I did think that I was going to get out, but I thought better of it. He said there's a lot of TikToks, there's a lot of videos, these kind of things, where people want you to get involved with them, and I would actually agree with that there. I have seen a lot of videos over the course of the season. Ronald Koeman even alluded it there, saying, you know what, it's not just me. There have been people sort of in and around the training ground outside the stadium, basically just filming things on their phone for TikTok, for all these different things, banging on players' windows, shouting abuse, and you're just thinking there, what does that achieve? Yes, we are all frustrated by our situation. We all want change, but I think these people here recording stuff, you know, making a big scene like that outside the stadium, it doesn't reflect well on the club. They may not even be connected with the club, and that's why stuff like this, it just doesn't help. However, if we do indeed move on to the match tomorrow against Rayo, and indeed all of the team news and the injury updates that we do have to discuss, starting there with Ansu Fati, because indeed Ronald Koeman confirmed that he may be in the squad for tomorrow's game, but he is by no means guaranteed to play a part after that knock to his knee that he suffered on Sunday against Real Madrid. Ronald Koeman said they're going to decide on the final decision tomorrow before the game, but right now Ansu does indeed remain a doubt to play against Rayo. And I think with that in mind, you're looking straight away at Aguero, somebody there when what we're lacking most in terms there of that front line, in terms of attacking play, what we need more than anything is a clinical touch in front of goal. He showed that when he came on against Real Madrid, got his first goal. That will give him tremendous confidence. And I think right now, Ronald Koeman in his press conference basically said there that Aguero can't play the full game. He can't play the full 90 minutes, but what he didn't rule out was Aguero getting his first start, and I think he is going to be banging on the door there, leading that line. And I would just throw it out there, if Ansu cannot play, if Ansu is not fit to play, and of course you don't want to take any risks with him, what about their starting Memphis Depay, starting him alongside Sergio Aguero as the two leading front men, and then in behind them, what about Coutinho? If we line up again in maybe a 4-2-3-1 shape, Coutinho there came on against Real Madrid. I think he looked really hungry. He does look quite confident right now, especially after his goal, of course, breaking that long drought without one. And I think they're Memphis, Aguero, Coutinho against Rayo Vallecano. It could work. Still though, in the squad for tomorrow's game, there is no place for Ousmane Dembele yet, although he did train with the group on Monday. He is looking good, he is feeling good. He is now 100% recovered and ready to go following his latest injury problem, but this game did just come a little bit too soon for him. He is now going to be assessed throughout the week how he's going to train, and then on Saturday, in that game against Alaves Barca, we'll evaluate him once again, and I think really they've got one eye on that massive game next week, next Tuesday, against Dynamo Kiev. They hope that Dembele will be available to help in that game, and that is the one there that he is really focusing on. But I want to talk there as well about another winger. I want to talk about Yusuf Demir and his situation right now, because Yusuf Demir, of course, exploded in pre-season. We were all really excited about him. He looked really confident, he looked really good. He came up then, promoted straight away to the first team. He started just 2 games. That's all he started this season. He hasn't even played since the end of September, when he only got 10 minutes there coming on against Levante, and since then he's been on the bench as an unused sub for the next 5 successive matches under Ronald Koeman. And according to the media right now, he is not in Koeman's plans, despite the fact that Koeman keeps saying, you know what, I've got no wide players, I've got no players there who can play in those wider areas up front. Yusuf Demir has been sat there thinking, what about me, boss? What about me? Can I play? He's not played though, and as a result of that, reports today actually claiming that Barca are now doubting whether to pay the activation clause on Yusuf Demir, which of course is 10 million euros there to make that loan permanent. Barca right now have not made any decision, and Yusuf Demir's future is now up in the air. Another position, though, that I really do want to talk to you guys about in some detail is all about their midfield. Our options in midfield, some of the injuries that we do have in that position. Let's start here by talking about Pedri, because like I say, there is real concern. He's not in the squad for this game. He's nowhere near returning right now. And of course, after such a long season, after such a long summer as well, he has had an injury-hit campaign so far for Barca. He suffered a muscle injury there during our Champions League defeat at home against Bayern last month, that was, and then he was rushed back. That is how all of this begins. That is how all of these problems start. Players there who are not quite ready to return, who are not quite ready to play, being rushed back there for the big game it was against Benfica. He played in that game, and surprise, surprise, he relapsed. And not only relapsed, but he's now got a bigger problem. Now that's not quite healing, that's not quite developing the recovery in the way that Barca hoped, and now we got a big problem on our hands. Because since that time, nearly a month now has gone by, Pedri not playing, not being able to be fit, and according to reports they're coming out from inside the club, it could be another 3 weeks. He could nearly miss there around 2 months of action, all because we couldn't wait. We were so focused there on that Benfica game, on the short term, rushing him back for that one fixture, that now he would have missed the game against Dinamo Kiev at home. He will now miss the game against Dinamo Kiev away. Who knows? He may not even be back to take on Benfica in that crucial fixture. And that's the problem. When you're thinking only of the short term, when you're thinking only of the next game and rushing players back who are not ready to be there, it will often come back to hurt you, and in a way that we've seen yet again in this Pedri case. And of course, when you are looking to that game against Rayo Vallecano, like I say, obviously there's no Pedri in the squad and available for that game. Who you're also not going to have, of course, is Frenkie de Jong. He is also injured there, confirmed by the club Monday that he suffered a hamstring strain against Real Madrid. But again, that was a problem that he had even before that game. But we still played him. And now he's going to miss 1, 2, maybe more games. We don't know yet exactly how long he's going to be out for. But de Jong not available against Rayo. Then you've got Gavi in midfield, who I am starting to get a little bit concerned about. Not in terms of performance, but I just think he's played a lot of football recently. I think you look at it there, he went away on international duty with Spain, played both of those games, he came back at club level, and since then, he's started 3 matches in the space of 7 days. I thought towards the end of the Clasico, he was looking really tired, and you've got to be careful with these players. They're not robots, and especially young players here like Gavi, they've not been experiencing football at this level before. They've not been used to playing at this kind of intensity at that top level. You've got to be careful when using them. And that is why, once again, I come here, and yes, you're probably thinking, change the record, but honestly, guys, I would just like to present Ronald Koeman with another option, with an alternative option there, so that he doesn't have to run these players into the ground, so that he doesn't have to rush players back and put people in there who are not ready to play. There's a young man on the bench. He's 22 years old. He's about 5'7" tall. He's from Catalonia. You can usually find him on benches where Barca are playing football. It's Ricky Puig. He's available for you. He can play in a Barca midfield, and when you're allowing these personal grudges here to impact the fitness and the availability of other players, that's when it becomes an issue. Puig is there, he's ready to play, he can give us something. Come on, let's see him, especially when our options are limited like this. There's no excuse now. And I think, guys, this is a very, very big game for Barca on Wednesday. Obviously, on the face of it, you're thinking, okay, it's only Rayo Vallecano. But when you're looking at the league table, Rayo, like a lot of other teams, they're ahead of us. They are doing better in the league than us this season. And it's a big, big game away from home. We've got to go there, again, with a few injury problems. But you can't blame that, especially when it's often the case there of the coach putting players in the lineup, the coach pushing players too hard, that's actually now resulted in them spending a little bit more time on the sidelines. You can't blame the injuries. This is a game that we got to win. There's no excuses. There's no doubt about it. Barca have to beat Rayo Vallecano. Will they do it? We're going to find out tomorrow. And of course, guys, following the game, I'm going to be right back here discussing it all with you. And hopefully, there'll be something here for us to be cheerful about, something to be positive about. Maybe Aguero can start his first game, get another goal. Maybe Memphis. I really think a goal for him would be a real weight off his shoulders right now, especially from open play. And of course, if Coutinho can get in there, maybe start showing again some of that hunger, some of that quality that we know that he has, but we haven't seen it enough. Please let me know all of your thoughts in the comments down below, guys. What would your team be to face Rayo? What are your predictions ahead of that game? Let me know all that down below. I will see you soon, of course. But until next time, as always, Visca El Barça.